As the colder months approach, it's time to start preparing for the unexpected. In today's video, we're diving into 12 items that will be in shortage this winter. From everyday essentials to surprising products, these shortages could impact your daily life more than you think. We'll explore why these items are becoming harder to find, how it might affect you, and most importantly, what you can do to stay ahead of the curve. Whether it's heating supplies, pantry staples, or even holiday must-haves, we've got the insights you need to navigate the season smoothly. So, grab a warm drink, hit that like button, and stick around to make sure you're fully prepared for what's coming. Let's jump in and uncover the 12 items you'll want to stock up on before it's too late. 1. Kitchen Gold Running Dry. Your olive oil bottle isn't just cooking oil anymore, it's become liquid gold, and most people are completely oblivious to what's coming. The global olive oil crisis has been building for months, while shoppers casually grab bottles without realizing they're holding a commodity that's about to become precious. Drought conditions across the Mediterranean have devastated olive groves, creating the worst harvest shortfalls in decades. Spain, which produces nearly half of the world's olive oil, has been hammered by extreme weather that's left trees withered and yields catastrophically low. The numbers don't lie, and they're brutal. Olive oil prices have already doubled in many markets, and that's just the beginning. Major retailers are implementing purchase limits, and smaller stores are simply running out of stock. Italy and Greece are reporting similar disasters in their olive-producing regions, creating a perfect storm of scarcity that's rippling through global supply chains. Meanwhile, countries like China and India have dramatically increased their olive oil imports, adding pressure to an already strained market. What makes this shortage particularly devastating is how essential olive oil has become in daily cooking. It's not some exotic ingredient you can easily substitute. It's the foundation of countless recipes, salad dressings, and food preservation methods. The flavor profile of olive oil can't be replicated by other oils, and for many dishes, there simply isn't an acceptable alternative. Home cooks who have built their entire culinary repertoire around olive oil are about to face a harsh reality check. The increased global demand isn't helping the situation. As health consciousness rises worldwide, olive oil consumption has skyrocketed. The Mediterranean diet trend has made olive oil a staple in households that never used it before, creating sustained demand that was already stretching supply chains before the harvest failures hit. This isn't a temporary spike, it's a fundamental shift in global consumption patterns, colliding with climate-related production problems. From a storage perspective, olive oil represents one of the smartest stockpiling decisions you can make right now. It has a shelf life of 2 to 3 years when stored properly in cool, dark conditions, making it ideal for long-term food security planning. Unlike many other cooking oils that go rancid quickly, quality olive oil maintains its nutritional value and flavor profile for extended periods. The harsh reality is that prices are only going in one direction. Supply chain experts are predicting that olive oil prices could triple from current levels before the situation stabilizes. The trees that produce olives take years to recover from drought stress, meaning this shortage could persist for multiple growing seasons. Smart shoppers are buying olive oil by the case now because waiting means paying significantly more for inferior products or going without entirely. 2. Sweet survival currency. Chocolate isn't just comfort food, it's about to become survival currency, and the warning signs are flashing red across global commodity markets. The cocoa crisis has been brewing in West Africa, where about 70% of the world's cocoa originates, and the situation is far worse than most consumers realize. Poor harvests in Ghana and Ivory Coast have created supply shortages that are sending shockwaves through the entire chocolate industry. These aren't minor production hiccups, they're catastrophic yield failures that are reshaping global cocoa availability. The price surge is already hitting retail shelves with the force of a freight train. Cocoa futures have reached historic highs, and chocolate manufacturers are passing those costs directly to consumers. Some European countries are reporting actual chocolate shortages in stores, not just higher prices. International conflicts are disrupting shipping routes, while market speculation is driving prices even higher as traders bet on continued scarcity. This combination of reduced supply and increased speculation creates a feedback loop that pushes prices into territory that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Most people think of chocolate as a luxury item, but that perspective ignores its genuine survival value. Chocolate is incredibly calorie-dense, providing quick energy when your body needs it most. Dark chocolate contains significant amounts of antioxidants, magnesium and iron nutrients that become crucial when your diet is restricted. The psychological benefits can't be dismissed either, as chocolate triggers the release of endorphins and serotonin, providing real mood stabilization during stressful periods. The emotional component makes chocolate particularly valuable during winter months when seasonal depression and cabin fever take their toll. Historical accounts from extreme survival situations consistently mention the morale-boosting effects of small amounts of chocolate. Military rations have included chocolate for over a century because commanders understand its psychological impact on troops facing difficult conditions. In your own home, having chocolate available during power outages, severe weather, or other disruptions provides genuine comfort that helps maintain mental stability. From a practical standpoint, chocolate offers excellent storage characteristics that make it ideal for emergency preparedness. Dark chocolate can last 2 years or more when stored in cool, dry conditions, while milk chocolate maintains quality for months even without refrigeration. Unlike many other comfort foods, chocolate doesn't require special equipment or preparation. It's ready to eat straight from the wrapper, making it perfect for emergency situations. The investment angle can't be ignored either. As cocoa prices continue climbing, chocolate becomes a hedge against both inflation and scarcity. That stash of chocolate bars represents more than just food. It's a commodity that's appreciating in value while sitting in your pantry. When chocolate becomes genuinely expensive rather than just pricey, you'll have secured access to both calories and psychological comfort at pre-crisis prices. The smart move is brutally obvious. Secure your chocolate supply now before the full impact of these shortages reaches retail prices. Focus on dark chocolate for maximum shelf life and nutritional density, but don't ignore milk chocolate if that's what provides you comfort. When winter arrives and chocolate becomes a luxury item instead of an everyday treat, you'll have preserved access to both sustenance and sanity. Free morning fuel crisis. Instant coffee might be the most underestimated survival item currently sitting in your kitchen, and that's about to change dramatically as global coffee supply chains collapse. Brazil and Colombia, which together produce over half of the world's coffee, are facing serious harvest problems that are creating ripple effects throughout the entire industry. Extreme weather, plant diseases, and labor shortages have combined to reduce coffee yields just as global demand continues climbing. Add persistent shipping delays that affect all international commodities, and you've got a recipe for empty shelves and inflated prices. The dependency factor makes this shortage particularly dangerous for most adults. Caffeine withdrawal isn't just uncomfortable, it's genuinely debilitating. Severe headaches, crushing fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating can persist for weeks, creating a serious liability in situations where mental clarity could mean the difference between good and bad decision. Yet most households have maybe a week's worth of coffee at any given time, completely unprepared for supply disruptions. Instant coffee solves multiple problems that regular ground coffee or beans simply can't address in survival situations. It has an extraordinarily long shelf life. Properly stored containers can remain viable for decades. It doesn't require grinding equipment, electric coffee makers, or precise brewing techniques. All you need is hot water and you've got caffeinated relief that your body craves. In power outage scenarios where electric appliances won't function, instant coffee still delivers the stimulation that keeps you functional. The portability and storage advantages are enormous, but often overlooked. Instant coffee takes up minimal space compared to equivalent amounts of ground coffee or beans, making it ideal for emergency kits and survival planning. It can dissolve in cold water if necessary, though it tastes better hot. The powder form means you can control serving sizes precisely, stretching your supply when rationing becomes necessary. Unlike coffee beans that require grinding and ground coffee that loses potency quickly, instant coffee maintains consistent strength and flavor indefinitely. From a nutritional standpoint, instant coffee provides more than just caffeine. It contains antioxidants and has been linked to improved cognitive function and metabolism. In survival situations where nutrition might be limited, the metabolic boost from caffeine can help your body burn stored fat for energy more efficiently. The mental alertness it provides becomes crucial during extended periods of stress or physical demands. The economic factors make instant coffee an even smarter choice as supply problems intensify. As coffee prices climb across all formats, instant coffee provides more servings per dollar than any other option. A large container of instant coffee can provide hundreds of cups at a fraction of the cost of equivalent amounts of ground coffee or beans. When your morning coffee becomes a luxury due to shortages and high prices, that stockpile of instant coffee becomes invaluable. The brutal truth is that coffee supply disruptions are already happening. They just haven't hit retail prices with full force yet. Processing facilities are running at capacity while demand keeps climbing. Transportation costs are increasing, and coffee-producing regions face OGO challenges that won't resolve quickly. Smart preppers are building their instant coffee reserves now before the full impact of these supply chain problems reaches store shelves and makes coffee a genuine luxury rather than a daily necessity. For protein in a can that's vanishing fast, canned beans are disappearing from grocery shelves faster than stores can restock them. And if you haven't noticed yet, you're about to get a brutal wake-up call. Families across the country have finally figured out what nutritionists have been preaching for years. Beans deliver more protein and nutrition per dollar than almost any other food source. The problem is that everyone else has caught on too, creating a stampede for what used to be the most reliable budget staple in the grocery store. Production facilities are running at maximum capacity, but they simply cannot keep pace with the surge in demand. Manufacturing plants that were designed for steady, predictable consumption patterns are buckling under the pressure of households buying cases instead of single cans. Distribution networks are stretched to their breaking point, with truck drivers reporting that bean shipments are selling out before they even reach store shelves. This isn't a temporary spike in demand. It's a fundamental shift in how American families approach food security, and the supply chain wasn't built for this reality. The nutritional profile of canned beans makes them absolutely irreplaceable in any serious food storage plant. A single cup of black beans delivers 15 grams of complete protein, 15 grams of fiber and essential minerals like iron, magnesium, and folate. When combined with rice or other grains, beans provide all the amino acids your body needs to maintain muscle mass and basic function. Unlike expensive meat that requires refrigeration and spoils within days, canned beans offer reliable protein that maintains its nutritional value for years without any special storage requirements. Most people drastically underestimate the caloric density that beans provide, which is a critical oversight when planning for food shortages. Black beans pack about 240 calories per cup, kidney beans deliver 220, and chickpeas provide 270 calories of sustained energy. The complex carbohydrates in beans provide steady blood sugar levels without the crash you get from processed foods, while the protein content helps maintain muscle mass even when overall food intake is reduced. In survival situations where every calorie counts, beans offer the kind of sustained energy that keeps you functional rather than just barely alive. The versatility factor makes beans even more valuable when food options become limited. They work perfectly in soups and stews, stretching other ingredients while adding substantial nutrition. They can be mashed into protein-rich spreads, mixed with rice for complete meals, or eaten cold straight from the can when cooking isn't possible. In emergency situations where ingredients might be scarce, beans absorb flavors well and can transform basic seasonings into satisfying, filling meals. Storage couldn't be simpler, but the window for building your supply is closing rapidly. Canned beans maintain their nutritional value and safety for 3 to 5 years when stored at room temperature, making them ideal for long-term emergency preparedness. Unlike dried beans that require soaking and lengthy cooking times, canned beans are ready to eat immediately, which becomes crucial during power outages or when cooking fuel is limited. The economic reality is becoming impossible to ignore. Bean prices have already increased significantly as demand outstrips supply, and industry experts are warning that prices will continue climbing as production struggles to catch up. Smart shoppers are buying beans by the case now, because waiting means paying substantially more for the same nutritional value. When protein becomes expensive and scarce, those cases of beans will represent some of the best food investments you ever made. 5. The breakfast grain nobody's talking about. Oats are sitting in your pantry right now, probably forgotten behind flashier breakfast options, but they're about to become one of the most sought-after commodities in your kitchen. While everyone obsesses over quinoa and other trendy grains, oats quietly deliver more nutritional value per dollar than almost any other breakfast option. The problem is that the rest of the world has discovered what health experts have known for decades, creating explosive global demand just as production problems are hammering supply chains. Extreme weather events have devastated oat-producing regions across North America and Europe. Drought conditions in some areas, flooding in others, and unpredictable temperature swings have disrupted growing seasons and reduced yields significantly. Canada, which produces about 20% of the world's oats, is reporting some of the worst harvest conditions in decades. Meanwhile, major importing countries are competing aggressively for whatever oats remain available on global markets, driving prices higher and creating genuine scarcity. The nutritional density of oats makes them absolutely essential for anyone serious about food security. They're loaded with beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that helps regulate blood sugar and cholesterol levels while keeping you full for hours. A single cup of cooked oats provides about 150 calories, 5 grams of protein, and essential nutrients like manganese, phosphorus, and magnesium. Unlike processed breakfast cereals that spike your blood sugar and leave you hungry within an hour, oats provide sustained energy that actually nourishes your body. Most people think of oats exclusively as breakfast food, which reveals a dangerous lack of understanding about their versatility. Oats can be ground into flour for baking bread, muffins, and pancakes when wheat flour becomes expensive or unavailable. They work as a natural thickener for soups and stews, adding both nutrition and substance to otherwise thin meals. They can be cooked, savory with vegetables and protein, or sweet with fruits and spices, providing meal variety when food options are limited. The storage advantages of oats are remarkable but often overlooked by casual consumers. Whole oats can maintain their nutritional value and safety for up to 30 years when stored properly in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers. Even regular rolled oats from the grocery store stay fresh for 2 to 3 years under normal storage conditions. They don't require refrigeration, special equipment, or complex preparation methods. Just add water and heat to create a nutritious, filling meal. From a survival perspective, oats offer something most other grains simply cannot match. They're incredibly filling without being heavy or requiring excessive cooking fuel. In situations where you might need to conserve energy or cooking resources, oats cook quickly and absorb water efficiently, meaning a small amount of dry oats expands into a substantial meal. This efficiency makes them ideal for emergency food supplies, camping gear, and long-term storage plans. The economic factors make oats an even smarter investment as global supply tightens. Despite recent price increases, oats still represent one of the best nutritional values in the entire grain market. A large container of oats costs less than most families spend on processed breakfast cereals in a single week, yet provides weeks of nutritious, satisfying meals. As food prices continue climbing and availability becomes uncertain, that stockpile of oats becomes increasingly valuable both nutritionally and economically. 6-jarred survival food disguised as childhood comfort. Peanut butter is about to transition from pantry staple to precious commodity, and most people are completely unprepared for what's coming. While families across the country are discovering the incredible nutritional value and shelf life of peanut butter, production and distribution systems are struggling desperately to meet the explosive demand. Store shelves that used to overflow with peanut butter options are now showing bare spots regularly, and prices are climbing with each restocking cycle. The demand surge isn't driven by food trends or marketing campaigns. It's driven by hard nutritional facts that make peanut butter irreplaceable in emergency food planning. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter pack about 190 calories, mostly from protein and healthy fats that your body actually needs for sustained energy and brain function. That same serving provides 8 grams of complete protein, more than many expensive protein bars that cost 5 times as much per serving. When food becomes scarce or expensive, peanut butter delivers essential nutrition at a fraction of the cost of traditional protein sources. The caloric density makes peanut butter particularly valuable in survival situations where every calorie counts. Those 90 calories per serving come from sources that provide sustained energy without the blood sugar spikes and crashes you get from processed food. The monounsaturated fats support brain function and hormone production, while the protein content helps maintain muscle mass even when overall food intake is reduced. In emergency situations where meals might be irregular or inadequate, peanut butter provides the kind of nutritional insurance that keeps your body functioning properly. Storage characteristics make peanut butter nearly perfect for long-term food security planning. Unopened jars last 2 to 3 years at room temperature, maintaining both nutritional value and food safety without any special storage requirements. Even after opening, peanut butter remains stable for months without refrigeration, making it ideal for power outage situations or emergency scenarios where refrigeration isn't available. Unlike many high-protein foods that spoil quickly or require special handling, peanut butter maintains its quality even under less than ideal conditions. The versatility factor makes peanut butter even more valuable when food options become limited. It works perfectly as a spread on bread or crackers, but it also functions as a cooking ingredient in sauces, soups, and stews. It can be eaten straight from the jar when other foods aren't available, providing immediate sustenance without any preparation or cooking required. In many cuisines worldwide, peanut-based sauces are dietary staples precisely because they provide rich, satisfying nutrition from simple, shelf-stable ingredients. The psychological benefits cannot be ignored in emergency planning. Peanut butter is genuine comfort food that provides emotional stability during stressful situations. The familiar taste and texture can provide mental grounding when everything else feels uncertain or chaotic. For families with children, having familiar foods available during difficult times can make the difference between cooperation and panic, making peanut butter valuable beyond its nutritional content. The economic reality is becoming brutal as supply struggles to meet demand. Peanut butter prices have already increased substantially across all major brands, with store brand options that used to be budget staples now priced like premium products. Natural and organic varieties have moved into luxury territory entirely. Industry experts are warning that prices will continue climbing as peanut crop challenges and processing capacity limitations persist. Smart shoppers are buying peanut butter by the case when they find sales, because those sale prices are quickly becoming the new regular retail prices. 7. Life's most basic necessity under threat. Bottled water isn't just a convenience item anymore, it's about to become a critical survival resource that most people are taking for granted until it's too late. While you're assuming that clean, safe drinking water will always flow from your tap and be available in endless plastic bottles at every store, infrastructure experts are warning about serious risks to both municipal water systems and bottled water distribution networks. The combination of aging water treatment facilities, potential service interruptions, and supply chain vulnerabilities creates a perfect storm that could leave you literally high and dry when you need water most. Water treatment facilities across the country are operating on borrowed time, with many systems decades past their intended replacement dates. Power outages, equipment failures, and maintenance issues can shut down treatment plants without warning, leaving entire communities without safe drinking water for days or even weeks. When these disruptions happen, and they're happening with increasing frequency, bottled water becomes the only safe option, creating instant shortages as panicked residents strip store shelves bare within hours. The supply chain for bottled water is far more fragile than most people realize. Production facilities depend on consistent electricity, transportation networks, and plastic bottle manufacturing that can all be disrupted by weather events, fuel shortages, or equipment breakdowns. When winter storms hit and power grids fail, bottled water production can cease entirely just when demand spikes dramatically. Distribution trucks can't deliver what isn't being produced, and stores can't sell what never arrives. Most households are catastrophically unprepared for water emergencies, with maybe a few bottles scattered in the refrigerator and nothing resembling a strategic water reserve. The standard recommendation is 1 gallon per person per day, but that's for drinking alone. It doesn't account for cooking, basic hygiene, or medical needs. A family of 4 needs at least 4 gallons daily just to stay alive, meaning a week-long water disruption requires nearly 30 gallons of stored water. How many people actually have 30 gallons of bottled water sitting in their homes right now? The economic factors make water hoarding inevitable when crises hit. Bottled water prices can increase tenfold within hours of a water system failure, and that's assuming you can find any for sale. During hurricane scenarios and similar emergencies, bottled water becomes more valuable than gasoline, with people driving hundreds of miles and paying outrageous prices for basic hydration. Smart preparation means buying water at regular retail prices instead of crisis pricing that can bankrupt households. Storage considerations make bottled water both challenging and essential for emergency preparedness. Water is heavy and takes up significant space, but there's no substitute when your tap runs dry or produces contaminated flow. Rotate your water supply regularly to maintain freshness, and store bottles away from heat sources and direct sunlight to prevent plastic degradation. Consider larger containers for better storage efficiency, but maintain smaller bottles for portability during evacuations. The brutal reality is that water infrastructure failures are becoming more frequent and severe. Climate change, aging systems, and increasing demand are stretching municipal water supplies to their breaking points. When your local system fails, and statistics suggest it's more a matter of when than if, having a substantial bottled water reserve could literally be the difference between life and death for your family. 8. Fresh produce apocalypse. Fresh vegetables are about to become luxury items that most families can't afford, and the warning signs have been flashing red across agricultural markets for months. Transportation problems, skyrocketing fuel costs, and poor harvests are creating a perfect storm that's already driving produce prices into territory that would have seemed impossible just a year ago. The complex supply chains that deliver fresh vegetables from farms to your grocery store are breaking down systematically, and most consumers are completely unprepared for what's coming. Transportation costs are crushing the fresh produce industry with brutal efficiency. Fuel prices have made long-haul trucking prohibitively expensive for many agricultural distributors, while driver shortages mean that produce sits rotting in fields and warehouses instead of reaching retail markets. Refrigerated transport, which is essential for maintaining vegetable quality and safety, requires even more fuel and specialized equipment that many smaller distributors simply can't afford to operate at current cost levels. The harvest failures are more widespread and severe than mainstream media is reporting. Drought conditions, flooding, extreme temperature fluctuations, and pest infestations have devastated growing regions across major agricultural areas. California, which produces about half of America's fresh vegetables, is facing water restrictions that are forcing farmers to abandon crops or accept dramatically reduced yields. Similar problems are affecting growing regions worldwide, creating global scarcity for fresh produce. Most people drastically underestimate how dependent they are on consistent fresh vegetable supplies for basic nutrition and health maintenance. Vegetables provide essential vitamins, minerals, and fiber that simply cannot be replaced by processed foods or supplements. Vitamin C, folate, potassium, and countless phytonutrients from fresh vegetables support immune system function, digestive health, and overall wellness. When fresh produce becomes unavailable or unaffordable, diet-related health problems follow quickly. The price increases are already hitting grocery stores with devastating impact on household budgets. Items that used to cost $2 are now priced at $5 or $6, forcing families to choose between fresh vegetables and other necessities. Organic produce has moved into genuine luxury territory, while even conventional vegetables are becoming budget busters for working families. These aren't temporary price spikes, they're structural changes in agricultural economics that will persist. Storage and preservation alternatives become critical when fresh vegetables are scarce or expensive. Frozen vegetables maintain most of their nutritional value and cost significantly less than fresh options, making them smart substitutes for budget-conscious families. Canned vegetables, while not ideal nutritionally, provide essential nutrients at stable prices with extended shelf lives. Learning basic preservation techniques like dehydrating and fermentation can help stretch whatever fresh produce you can obtain. The dietary health implications are severe, but often overlooked until problems develop. Families forced to abandon fresh vegetables due to cost or availability typically increase their consumption of processed foods, creating nutritional deficits that lead to weakened immune systems, digestive problems, and chronic health issues. Children are particularly vulnerable to nutritional gaps from reduced vegetable consumption, with potential impacts on growth and cognitive development. The SMART strategy requires immediate action before prices climb even higher and availability becomes truly limited. Stock up on frozen and canned vegetables now, while supplies are adequate and prices are still somewhat reasonable. Learn to cook with preserved vegetables so your family will accept them as fresh produce becomes scarce. Consider starting container gardens or preserved food stockpiles that can supplement whatever fresh vegetables you can afford to buy. 9. Ocean protein vanishing from shelves. Canned fish is disappearing from grocery stores faster than most people realize, and if you haven't started building your supply, you're about to face empty shelves and prices that will shock you. Increased demand from families seeking affordable, shelf-stable protein sources has collided with production delays at processing facilities and shipping bottlenecks at major ports, creating a shortage that's already hitting retail markets across the country. The combination of supply chain disruptions and surging demand has transformed what used to be budget-friendly protein into a commodity that's becoming increasingly scarce and expensive. Production delays at fish processing facilities are creating bottlenecks throughout the entire canned fish supply chain. Equipment breakdowns, labor shortages, and quality control issues are forcing processors to operate well below capacity just when demand is reaching historic highs. Many facilities are running outdated equipment that breaks down frequently, while others are struggling with workforce issues that slow production lines and reduce output. The result is fewer cans of fish reaching distribution networks exactly when consumers need them most. Port delays are compounding the production problems with devastating efficiency. Shipping containers full of canned fish sit for weeks at overcrowded ports, waiting for trucks and rail transport that are themselves experiencing serious delays and capacity limitations. The specialized refrigerated containers required for some fish products are particularly scarce, leading to spoilage and waste that further reduces available supply. What should be a straightforward process of getting canned fish from processors to stores has become a logistical nightmare. The nutritional profile of canned fish makes it absolutely irreplaceable for families preparing for food shortages or budget constraints. Canned salmon, sardines, and tuna provide high-quality, complete proteins with all essential amino acids your body needs for muscle maintenance and basic function. They're also rich in omega-3 fatty acids that support brain function, heart health, and immune system response, nutrients that become critically important when overall diet quality declines due to food scarcity or economic pressures. Most people underestimate the caloric density and nutritional value that canned fish provides compared to other protein sources. A single can of salmon delivers about 300 calories and 45 grams of protein, along with significant amounts of vitamin D, selenium, and B vitamins. Sardines pack similar nutrition in smaller packages, while tuna provides lean protein that works in countless meal preparations. Unlike fresh fish that spoils within days and requires refrigeration, canned fish maintains its nutritional value for years without any special storage requirements. The shelf life advantages make canned fish ideal for long-term food security planning. Properly stored canned fish remains safe and nutritious for 3 to 5 years, making it one of the most reliable protein sources for emergency preparedness. Unlike meat that requires freezing or fresh fish that spoils quickly, canned fish provides protein security that doesn't depend on refrigeration or power availability. This stability becomes crucial during extended emergencies or economic hardships when access to fresh protein becomes limited. The versatility factor makes canned fish even more valuable when meal options become restricted. It works perfectly in salads, sandwiches, pasta dishes, and casseroles, providing protein that transforms simple carbohydrates into satisfying, nutritious meals. Canned fish can be eaten straight from the can when cooking isn't possible,